Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start this lesson off by giving all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone. Honors to all the brothers who are firmly pushing the word in sincerity and in faith. Shalom to all the sincere believers. Now this lesson is going to be based on this firefighter that got trapped inside a Brooklyn bakery during a blaze. So through the Spirit, I'm going to read this article, get some precepts, and Lord's will, you're edified. Today, a firefighter had to be rescued from a Brooklyn bakery after it collapsed during a fire on Wednesday, according to the FDNY. The blaze broke out on 36th Street around 2 a.m., but it grew to 3 alarms by 3:10 a.m. At least 170 firefighters and EMS personnel responded to the scene, according to the FDNY. Fire officials said the firefighter was in the back of the building when he became trapped. He was rescued by fellow firefighters and taken to a local hospital with burns on his hands and possible respiratory burns, according to the FDNY. Fire officials said 3 others were also injured, a child and 2 adults. One of the adults suffered a serious respiratory injury, according to the FDNY. No bakery staff were inside the building when the fire broke out. Fire marshals are investigating the cause. Ecclesiasticus 39:28, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction they pour out their force, and appease the wrath of him that made them. Verse 29, fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. That's right, these fires are the Lord's spirits of vengeance. And they're used to destroy, they're used to wound people, and they're used to kill people. And in this particular judgment, the fire was used to wound that firefighter, that child, and those 2 other adults. Psalms 9:16, the Lord Yahweh is known by the judgment which he executeth. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands, Hegion Selah. And these are the judgments of the Lord, because these are the Lord's spirits of vengeance. Like I just read, fire is one of the Lord's spirits that are created for vengeance. So these spirits that are created for vengeance execute the judgments of the Lord. Deuteronomy 32:39. See now that I, even I am he, and there is no power with me. I kill and I make alive, I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. And through his various forms of judgment, the Lord wounds and kills people on a daily basis. Men, women, and children, all over the world. Hebrews 10:31. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. And that's right. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And ultimately that's because the Heavenly Father controls every scenario that happens. So just like with this particular scenario and that firefighter who got trapped, and even though his fellow firefighters were able to rescue him, it wasn't before he suffered some burns. And who knows? When he got trapped, he probably thought he wasn't gonna make it. And it's only because the Heavenly Father decided to allow him to be saved that he was saved, that he was rescued. Because the Heavenly Father easily could have had that go in a very different way. And this is why you're supposed to fear the Lord. Because the Lord places you in certain situations, and he can get you out of those situations if he chooses to. But majority of these people out here, they don't understand that. They don't understand that this is all the work of the Lord. They refuse to acknowledge it. Even when you break it down, and even when you explain it to them and read them the scriptures and everything, they still will not accept it. And that's how you know that majority of people out here are just fit for destruction. Psalm 7 and 11. Yahweh judgeth the righteous, and Yahweh is angry with the wicked every day. And clearly the Lord is angry. That's why every day there is judgment being executed. People are getting wounded and killed, and great affliction and many great miseries and sore strokes are being laid upon people every day, because that's the anger of the Lord upon these wicked people. Romans 2 and 11. For there is no respect of persons with Yahweh. And that's right, the Heavenly Father does not care if it's a man, a woman, a child, a pregnant woman, an elderly person, a quote-unquote newborn baby. The Heavenly Father doesn't care if you're a rich person, doesn't care if you're a homeless person. None of those things matter. At the end of the day, if you're deemed to be wicked in the eyes of the Lord, then he's going to send his spirits of vengeance upon you to punish you accordingly. And we see that taking place every day. And for those of us of the hopeful elect who are locked in and really paying attention, we see that these judgments are happening more frequently, and they're getting more intense, more serious. Like it says in Luke 21 and 22, for these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. And we are clearly living in those days of vengeance. That's why sore strokes are being laid upon these wicked people non-stop every day. That's the vengeance of the Heavenly Father. That is his anger. That is his wrath towards these wicked people being put on display. And because these wicked people are so simple-minded, they don't understand that the judgments that they are receiving are punishment for their wicked actions. Even though, like I said earlier, the men of the Lord are constantly breaking it down and explaining it. These people, they still will not accept it. See, majority of these people are just fit for destruction. And the Lord is going to do just that. He's going to destroy these people. And that's what they deserve. And we're going to see a lot more fires, a lot more earthquakes, a lot more storms and tempests, a lot more shootings and stabbings and hit and runs and plane crashes and all sorts of judgments upon these wicked people that result in hundreds of people dying, hundreds of people suffering, hundreds of thousands of people mourning and weeping. Because as I've said before, and many of the men of the Lord have said it as well, is that the Heavenly Father is the one being whose bad side you don't want to be on. And yet there are a lot of people who are on the Lord's bad side. And they're going to find out what comes along with being on the Lord's bad side. See, those of us of the hopeful elect, we just have to continue to fear the Lord. Because like it says in Proverbs 19:23, the fear of the Lord Yahweh tendeth to life, and he that hath it shall abide satisfied. He shall not be visited with evil. So, those of us of the hopeful elect, we just have to stay locked in, continue to fear the Lord, continue to stay circumspect, continue to stay prayed up, continue to read and watch and fast, because things are about to get a whole lot more serious out here. And those of us of the hopeful elect, we need the continued hedge of protection of the Heavenly Father if we have any chance of making it out of here. If we have any chance of making it through these increasingly dangerous times. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up here. In closing, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakudash, the Wadi Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai for putting the spirit on me to do this lesson. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to all the brothers who are still fervently pushing the word in sincerity and in faith. Shalom to all the sincere believers. Hope you all stay strong, stay safe, stay fervent, stay circumspect, stay prayed up. Adawan Ratazah. Till next time, Shalom.